Okay, so I'll always start with, and let's do that now. So I'm going to have you kneel down on the ground and just do an open stretch, which is really for your hips and some of your upper body as well, because your hips are really your core. So I'll explain as we go along a little bit, but I want you to get in a position where your front knee is over your ankle and your back leg is stretched back a little bit. And then just take your arm up in the air where the leg is back and get a good stretch, which is going to be mainly pulling that leg that's back. You can lean forward a little bit and then try to work that arm up in the air. And now you're going to be stretching your upper body a little bit with that as well.
Okay.
You know, a lot of movements that you do centers around the hips and the lower back. So if you can open up a little bit from there before you even get started, you're going to have a lot more space to play with when you're doing bigger movements. All right, switch to the other side. Remember that front foot, your knee can lean forward, so you always want to be at like a 90-degree angle, and your leg in the back can shift back as far as how you feel comfortable. So it's going to be opening up that hip on the, since my left leg is back, it's going to be opening up the hip on my left side. And then take your left arm and just raise it above your head, and then just try to straighten up. Don't go into a big arch, but you can lean forward a little bit. Just let your upper body stretch a little bit at the same time as well.
Okay, then you can do it. The child who's boycotting.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. I have to lock my door so my two kids don't come down when I'm doing this. My wife stays upstairs with them, and my little one would try to get down, I think, if the door wasn't locked.
No, I kind of came into the space that they were. She's not.
Okay. All right, that's good. All right, so now I want you to stay on your mat, and you're going to kneel down with both hands below your shoulders, and you're going to do a movement where one leg goes out straight and the opposite arm goes out in front of you. Okay, so kind of like an angle through the middle of your body. And then you're going to come inside with your elbow and your knee and kind of hover in the air a little bit and come down into like a crunch position forward and then extend back out again. Okay, so you're really going to a straight body position. Your leg is extended out back, your arm is pushing forward, and then when you come in, you're crunching as if you're curling forward towards your knee and your elbow. So they meet each other and then push back out again. Okay, so this is a movement, but these are also movement stretches too. So we're getting some movement through your spine now and using your muscles that are going to be used a little bit, you know, in the next 45 minutes. So crunch and push. Take your time with these, come inside and hold it. So you have a chance to kind of curl your back a little bit and then push back out again. And we'll do 3 more of those. Come in, hold it, push back out. A lot of the things that I do also involve posture and balance. So some of the movements that we'll do are going to test all that. And you get a lot more out of your movements when you incorporate. That's good. You can put that back down. We're going to switch to the other side. You get a lot more out of movements when you involve all those different things. Okay, push, extend all the way. I'm a big believer that strength can only be advanced. Your body can get stronger if you're in balance on both sides. You have more flexibility, and your posture is working with you. Push it all the way out, hold it, and come inside. You know, when your posture works with you and your flexibility is there, you know, you can push yourself to do bigger and better movements over time. Hold and come inside. Hold there. Push it all the way out. Squeeze that leg straight. What you'll find from movements like this is as you do more of them, you're going to feel more comfortable getting into the position. Flexibility is going to open a little bit. Squeeze and hold. So you want to extend and hold your leg in the air with that hip and then push that arm all the way out in front of you. Just one more. Push it all the way. And that's good. Relax. All right, come back to that center position now. Both hands are below your shoulders. You're on your knees, and you're going to round all the way up and then drop all the way down in the middle. So you're going to pull all the way up, and this is really stretching the mid to lower part of your back, and then you're dropping down. So again, this is just kind of preparing you after doing a couple movements now to open up your spine. So lift all the way up. It's a rounded back, and then let it drop all the way back down into like an arch position. A couple more of those. And when you lift into that rounded back, you can use your abdominals a little bit, almost like a crunch. And that kind of teaches you how to get your abdominals engaged when you do other movements. Pull up and hold, and drop back down. And just one more of those. Lift all the way up, and relax. Good. All right, so now we're going to stand, and I want you to take those weights, and you're going to hold those right above your shoulders. Okay, so the position's going to be, if I have dumbbells, they're not resting completely on my shoulders, but I'm kind of letting the backside sit right on the front of my shoulders, but the front of the dumbbell is kind of out in front of my shoulders. Okay, so my elbows are staying up. My feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width. And I'm showing you from this angle because when you sit back into a squat, you want to make sure your hips go back first. So when I sit into it, I am going to lean a little bit forward, but I'm not letting my body curl forward. I'm keeping my shoulders pulled back and then push all the way up. So that's a standard squat where you're kind of teaching yourself to get your hips involved. So you're sitting in it, hold it, and then you're forcing yourself right back up. But it all starts and ends with your hips. Okay, so let's take it back nice and slow. Sit into it to a comfortable range and then stand all the way through it. But you'll realize as you're doing this, your shoulders are going to be utilized a little bit and your abdominals. So when you get to the bottom part of this, right here is where your back's going to arch. Use your stomach to help you push out of it. And that's what I was saying from the beginning. If I gave you heavier dumbbells over time, I have to make sure that your posture and your abdominals are used throughout the progression, or I would never advance you. Mm-hmm. You're telling me your back hurts, then I'm pretty much assuming that you're not strong enough for one reason or another to handle the movement. Could be your posture, could be your core, could be your lower back is just tight. But you want to utilize all this. This is a full body movement. Take it down, hold there, and push out. 3 more of those. Slow, get as much movement back, and up. 2 more. Because when you squat, your knees should never go forward. They'll shift a little bit, but your rear end really has to be the first thing that goes back and sits into it, and the first thing that comes up as you're coming through it. Okay, that's good. Relax. All right. So now I'm going to have you kneel down on your mat.
Right, just give me one. I'm going to get this at the mat over there. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm back.
All right, so grab one of your dumbbells and you're going to hold it both of your hands. Okay? So your one knee that's up in the air is the way that you're going to turn towards. So it's almost like picture you're going from your right hip. Now my right knee is down. I'm going from my right hip up to my left shoulder. So I'm going to take that dumbbell and I'm going to twist my body a little bit. And then I'm going to turn and try to bring it up towards that shoulder. And then bring it right back down. But that front knee doesn't move. Put that front foot down into the ground and keep that knee straight ahead. Turn, twist a little bit towards that left side or your right side, and then turn back towards the starting point. Yep. So this, you're trying to create some range of motion through your waist. Bring it down and turn it up. Are you a golfer?
I'm not.
Okay. Any sports?
I'm in my early 40s. So I used to play tennis quite a bit, when I was younger. I used to swim a lot. I've been pretty athletic in my life, I would say. Okay. Again, I guess most recently, I would, 2 days a week, 2 mornings a week, I would go and do strength training, at a gym. And then I'd go to Soul Cycle and do cycling. you know, an active soul cycling class on the weekend. Good. So that was kind of like, that had been my main activity, but I've not been very good ever since we've gone in this remote situation.
Let's switch your feet out, bring your other foot forward, and you're doing the opposite now. So the weight's going to turn towards that hip, and then up and around. Regardless of what activity you do, a rotation movement is going to allow your hips and your waist to open up and use your obliques and your abdominals. So this is really a core movement trying to create some flexibility. So I always say, if I do a movement like this, I'll tell people, you want to feel like you're kind of coming up and looking back over your shoulder, but I don't know what kind of range of motion you have. So don't force yourself into a back arch. Just kind of come up and twist a little bit and open up that hip. Let's do 3 more. And obviously your shoulders are going to get utilized a little bit too. Come up. Keep that front foot glued to the ground. 1 more. Up and turn. And that's good. Relax. Bring it back down and drop that weight. Okay. So now, let's see if you can, this can be a little cumbersome, but let's see if you can put both of those dumbbells in one hand and just kind of let it hang. See if you can squeeze both together. Now, what you can do is you can put your fingers underneath and just kind of make a little shelf so both of them kind of crisscross over top of each other.
Okay, yep.
Is that comfortable?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so now take your 1 foot and you're going to go back into a split stance. So it's a little bit of a short lunge. Now I'm going to lean my hand on my front knee, and now my back foot, my heel is up in the air. So it's a little bit unbalanced position. And now I'm leaning my body over my front knee and hold it there. And then I'm going to come straight up into a row position and then let it come back down. So you're letting your arms stretch a little bit, but you're still setting your body straight. And now come up and stretch it. Hold it and pull from there. Okay, make sure your upper body is leaned forward. That's the challenging position that you want to be in. Now you may feel this in the front leg and in your glute just by putting your weight forward on that, and then the movement itself is that lat in the upper part of your back. So keep your body faced forward, no changes in that, and then draw that shoulder blade up every time you're ready to pull. 90-degree arm pull, so it's back. Don't stay tight here. Relax your shoulder, and then let it hang. Let's do 3 more. Pull and hold. And don't come out of that position throughout the course of the one side, the whole set. 1 more. Pull and hold. And that's good. Relax. Okay, come out of that and switch your stance. So that back leg can go back in a comfortable stretch position. Lean forward and put your hand on your knee so you're supporting your lower back. Okay? And row it and let it hang straight back down. So don't turn your body towards that side that you're rowing with. Don't twist. Stay forward so your chest is really faced towards the ground. Row and let it hang. Pull and let it stretch. And then reset it. Pull your shoulder blade back and let your arm hang. And let it hang down. 4 more. Pull. And you should feel that shoulder blade retract back and pull the weight up. 2. Pull and let it stretch down. And last 1. Up. And that's good. Relax. Okay, drop those dumbbells down. And now we're going to go to the mat down on the floor. And there are a couple different versions of push-ups that are good for your chest. Is really the muscle that's pushing you out of it. Now, the way I always demonstrate this is if you're looking at me from the top of my shoulders, standing over me, this is the position it should look like when you're down there. Not out wide and not in close. Just for your wrist position, you should be in a 90-degree bend. Okay, so that's the position I want to be in when I do a push-up, and I'm pushing straight out that way. Okay, so that's what you should see if you're looking over my shoulders. Two different ways you can do this. Obviously straight up, so your knees are off the ground, okay? Or you stay knees down and you bring your feet up like this. So now I'm gonna stay back away from my hands a little bit. I'm gonna lean forward and then let my body drift down towards the floor. And then quick push, I'm coming right back out. So it's a real power movement that you're trying to create. So take your time going down, because I don't want you to arch your back, and then a quick push coming out of it. This is obviously for your upper body, but a very important abdominal movement, because when you get closer to the floor, you want to contract your stomach so that supports your lower back. You feel like you're doing it comfortably on your knees?
Yeah, it feels fine.
Can you do a full push-up?
Probably a few, but depends how many. Yeah, I mean, as far from on my knees, I can do a full push-up with like the way you're doing it now. Yes.
I want to be straight at the bottom, and I want to be straight as I'm coming through. Okay, obviously more pressure on your body to do that, more pressure on your core. Take your time, and a quick push when you come out of it. And just two more of those. Slow going down, quick push to come out of it, and one more. Slow, quick push to come out of it. Good. Okay, drop
Yeah,
back.
it's much harder, obviously, for me to do it like when I'm not on my knees than to do it straight.
Yeah, there's a lot of variations that you can do when you're doing it, but it's a good overall. It's almost like the squat that I was talking about before, how it's a full body movement. A push-up can become that as well. All right, so stay on your mat, on your knees, and shift back and stretch your hands forward. So you're really trying to pull your shoulders and your lats away from your hips. These are good to do periodically throughout movements, because when you do strength stuff, you're not talking about constant movement. You know, it's not like doing cardio where you need to keep your heart rate up. So it's not a bad thing to keep loosening up your muscles a little bit to give you some more space for the next round, the next set of movements that you do. All right, so let's go back to that first movement that we did on your knees, which is that opposite arm and leg. So one hand stays down. I'm going to push one leg and one arm straight out and hold it. Try to balance there for a couple seconds, and then come inside into that crunch position. Hold it, elbow to knee, and push back out again. And we're trying to force that one leg straight and force that arm way away from your shoulder forward. Come inside and push. Hold it and push. Hold there and extend. Hold that out there and come inside. Last three of those. Push. Extend. And one more. Hold it here and push it out. All right, so let's switch sides. Same thing, arm and leg. Come inside, hold there. That's your balance part, and extend. Balance here too. Come in and hold. Push it. Squeeze that leg up straight. You're trying to extend that leg straight back, but only even with your hip. That's where your glute works when you're going through the extension. Push and hold. Come inside. And let's do three more. Hold here. Push. Hold in the center. Fully extended. Come inside, hold, and last one. Push it all the way out there. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's stay down on your knees, and let's grab that one dumbbell. And you're going to walk one foot out in front of you, and you're starting the movement towards the leg that's back. So both hands on the dumbbell, and it's an opposite up and turn towards that shoulder and then twist and go back down towards your hip. Up and around, and come back down. Twist up, keeping that front knee forward. That's the important thing. Don't let your body go with you. You'll get more resistance around your waist if you keep that front knee faced forward. Let's do 4. And let it come back down and hang for a second. And then up and around. Up. And last one. And that's good. Bring it back down and switch to the other side. Front foot plastered to the ground. Twist towards that hip. And up and turn. You'll often find when you're doing strength movements, especially if it's one side at a time, you'll feel more comfortable going towards one side. I mean, we always choose a more comfortable side, and that's what the way our body is set at some point, especially as we get older, we get tighter. We're not really working on symmetry on both sides, but that's an important thing, especially if you're trying to make gains and, you know, reach some goals. You want to stay healthy doing that. And just one more of these. And a big part of it when you're doing strength work and anything against resistance, that's good, relax, is, again, like I said from the beginning, it's balance, it's flexibility, and that will allow you to increase your strength. But you want to make sure that both sides stay fairly even. That's important. Okay, so let's get back to that squat position, which was grabbing a hold of your dumbbells. And remember, they're sitting so that the front part of the dumbbell is actually out in the open. You're kind of holding those and supporting the back side of the dumbbell on your shoulder. And now your feet just a little bit wider than shoulder width. And then you're going to sit way back, try to hold those dumbbells straight, use your shoulder blades, and come straight up. So more importantly, get your hips back. That's where you're going to use your rear end more. Hold it. And then stand through it. And most importantly, at the bottom part, abdominals like you're doing a crunch, and then power your hips straight up. Slow. And again, all this becomes much more important if I gave you a weight that was really challenging for you. It's fine if you're using weight that's okay, but you'll be more required to use everything and really lock in tight if the weight is really challenging.
Right. So is there, in your opinion, is there sort of like a certain weight that's best for strength training? Like, I know when I go to the gym, literally, like, the woman would just hand me something and like, here, use this, you know, sometimes I would have like 12, 15, 20, at, you know, kind of 25 at the most for something. But is there something that's like ideal?
Not really. I mean, it really comes down to, let's keep going with these. It really comes down to the person. You know, it's always a trial and error. You know, I'll always stick towards the lighter side when I'm working with somebody for the first couple times. And I'll kind of know their strength as I'm watching them. You know, if I'm watching you in person do a movement like this, I'm going to see, first of all, how your mechanics work, make sure your body can get into a good squat position, make sure your posture is good enough to hold a certain amount of weight or even just your body weight. And if you have all the simple concepts down, let's do 3 more of these. And again, tangent a little bit, but your repetitions here, if you're doing weight that's not extremely challenging, can be up a little bit more, and it's just more time under tension. So the more you do with lighter weight, your legs will start to get a little bit tired at some point. So getting back to the weight thing, it's really about challenging somebody to handle a certain weight. And I'll be able to see that as I work with somebody once or twice. More importantly, to see what their body position looks like, just squatting, and then making adjustments, and then adding weight little by little. But there's never a standard weight that I would say I would hand somebody. That is so individualized when you're working with people. So, and then it comes down to, you know, how much can you handle doing at that point? You know, can you do 8 repetitions? Can you do 10? If I get you to 15 and you're still kind of looking like it's easy, then we're going to have to make a change. It's not always weight changes. It could be the way you do the movement. I might have you do something more in a split stance as opposed to just a regular squat. Squat is a standard strength movement for your lower body. It's always a good movement to do because I can see what symmetry looks like in your body. And if you don't have symmetry, if I don't see that both sides are being used evenly, then I wouldn't force you to do a lunge because a lunge is throwing you position. So it really comes down to what I see from each person, what makes the most sense, and how we can advance, your strength, your balance, whatever you're looking towards in terms of a goal. Okay, so let's get down and do that push-up again. And, again, if you want to start straight and then advance to your knees being down, that's a good idea too, because you can kind of exhaust your energy trying to get through a good solid push-up. So if you're doing that, you're straight up, you're controlling the movement down, and then you're quickly coming out. That's where you want the power to be. So it's a slow, controlled movement, and then a quick push coming out. Take your time, set at the top, straight, slow going down, and a quick push coming out. Abdominals, again, have to be drawn in, especially at the bottom, and push out. Okay, let's try 4 more, however you're going to do them. Up, slow going down, and a quick push coming out. 2, slow, quick push coming out. And last one, and quick push coming out. Good. And again, push-ups, I start to see people's bodies buckle as they're doing the movement. So first I want to look for making sure their body position is correct, and then at what point do I see you fatigue? And then I'll determine, are you strong enough to be able to advance the movement, or do we need help with core flexibility and balance? And we go from there. All right, so let's get back to that row movement now, where both dumbbells are over top, crisscrossed, and then a support underneath. So now your same arm that you're rowing with is the leg that goes back. Toes are down, heels in the air, and I'm leaning with my hand on my knee. That's the support from my lower back. And now I'm leaning a little bit forward, and then I'm staying there and completing that row straight up. So you can get that little stretch when your arm comes down towards the ground, but immediately you want to start retracting your shoulders and straighten your body to bring that weight straight up. So it's a row. Let it come down and hang for a second, but still have control. Okay, so your body doesn't move out of position. Up to here. And more importantly, don't come out of it. Stay down. That allows you to get more resistance into your lat. And shoulder blade comes up. And 2 more on that side, we'll switch it. Row it up. Let it hang. And 1 more. Here. And step out of it. And the real importance when you're doing these split stance movements is the core idea, your abdominals, because I'm really compromising my lower back when I'm out of position here. But I'm assuming when I'm working with somebody that they understand all that and they're managing it when they're doing it. So stay forward, row it straight up, and back down. But if that's not the case, then I'll ask questions, and somebody might say to me, my lower back's bothering me here, my shoulder hurts. So that's when you got to make adjustments. All this stuff is very individualized.
Yeah.
And row, and let it stretch back down. Body straight. Keep that pressure on that front foot. The more you put pressure on your front leg, the more you're using your glute on that side for support. So I am using my lower body a little bit here too, especially after doing some of the other lower body movements so far. 4 more of those, and let it hang. Row it. Let it hang. 2, and stretch down, and 1 more, and bring it down. That's good. You can drop those down. All right, so I want to go right back and do one more round of that squat. This is the base movement that it really all comes from. This gets everything involved. So these are good to do for multiple sets. Okay, so remember, dumbbell rests, elbows stay up a little bit. I'm going to sit back, comfortable position, and manage the hold at the bottom and then stand. I think I said it earlier, but as you do more sets of these, you should find that your flexibility gets better. So I should be able to force myself back more, maybe even a little bit further down. I'm not looking for anything lower than 90 degrees or just short of that. Anything lower than that is going to put more pressure on your knees. Not worth it. Sit into it, manage that hold, control, and then push out. Slow, hold it, and push. Let's do 5 more. Range of motion, down, hold, and push. Hold, and last 3. Slow, control it, and come out. 1 more. Hold it, and stand. That's good. Okay, so let's walk a little bit away from center and give yourself a little bit of distance because you're going to walk now a couple paces towards each direction. So now I'm going to sit with my knees bent and stay now in that squat position. Now, without a band, sometimes I'll put a band on somebody. Without a band, it's not going to be really resistive, but staying in this position, you're going to be using your legs a little bit. So now I'm going to take some slow walks, and I'm going to kind of creep to one side while staying hips back. Okay, we're just doing 5, and 1 more, and stay down. Sit in this position and stay there, and now take 5 steps to the other way. And we're going to do 2 rounds of these, staying in that position. So now I'm kind of teaching my glutes to have a little bit more endurance when there's pressure on me. Okay, this is called time under tension. So stay here now and go back again. So again, if I force myself to use a band, the outer part of my legs are going to have more resistance, which they still are now. 1 more. Stay down and go last 5. But these are also using your quads, your glutes, a little bit of your hamstrings, and just 1 more. And that's good, relax. Back to the center. Okay. All right, so now we're going to grab just 1 dumbbell. This may be a little bit easy, but you're going to do a split stance. Okay, so now you're going to get a good stretch back with 1 leg, and the leg that's back is the arm that's holding a dumbbell. If it's easy, resistance-wise, you can grab both like you did for the row. But this is going to be a straight drop lunge. So now you're coming down. So it's back knee. See how my legs are 90 degrees. A normal lunge that people will think about is some people drive their knee forward. I want you to go straight over your hips, straight down. So your back knee really starts it. Now stay here and curl that dumbbell to here. Drop it back down and stand straight up. When you stand straight up, you want to feel as though you're extending your leg and standing on that glute. So now drop straight on that back knee. Good distance down, just short of the floor. Curl it, drop it back down, and stand. Now again, coming off of some of those other lower body movements, you're putting pressure on your legs again. Hold it, curl, let it extend, and come back up. And again, the bicep part of the movement, which is that curl, might not be overly taxing. And if it's not, you got to find the weight that's going to do that. I would imagine for someone like you, it might be a 12-pound dumbbell, something like that. So maybe you double up the dumbbells, or this just feels okay. Curl,
Yeah,
Stretch.
that's where I'm like contemplating buying new, I had these 8-pound ones from years ago at home, but I'm like probably gonna buy more.
Yep. Okay, come up. Let it come back down. Another good option is those adjustable dumbbells. You can buy one and they adjust to different weights. Curl. You can buy a set of dumbbells that go up to 24 pounds, and you just turn a knob and it adjusts anywhere from 5 up to 24. Just one more. Stay here, curl, back down, and step forward out of it.
Is there a particular kind you would recommend, or it's all?
Gosh, I'm trying to think of the name of the company that started it. Bowflex is the first one. Bowflex came out with a machine years ago that was like a
yeah, I remember, like, yeah, it had all kinds of things to it, yeah.
Yeah, you attach cables to it and all that. So Bowflex came out with their adjustable dumbbells, but there's been other companies that.
Yeah, okay.
Select Tech might be another one. All right, so let's drop into that lunge now. Straight below your hip, stay here, curl it, back down, and stand straight up. Use that unbalanced position to your advantage. So you want to feel like your legs get a little bit of offset resistance. Curl it, stretch it, stand straight up, and kind of feel the full unbalance aspect of it. Drop straight, curl, drop. That kind of stuff you can find. I've been looking on Marketplace on Facebook. People buy some stuff, especially exercise equipment, and they don't use it within a month, and they have to drop the price, and it's just sometimes worth it. Get something almost brand new. All right, come up and curl, let it hang, and come up. I think things like that, like these adjustable dumbbells, you've seen more of that stuff sold out on Amazon these days because people are buying for their homes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know.
Because of all this. Okay, last 3. Straight drop, stay here, pull, let it hang, and come up. Again, even more important here, even if you're not doing a lot of resistance, core, shoulders, posture, everything stays up straight. Curl it, hang it, come back down. Just one more. Straight drop. Posture is important. It'll add more intensity to the movement. And come up. Step forward. All right, so now you're going to do a one-leg movement that's going to work your hamstrings a little bit. So now you're going to stand on one foot, and the other leg is just kind of there to hang. Okay, whatever you do, it's just going to stay behind you a little bit. So just feel your balance, make sure you're comfortable with that. All I'm going to have you do is tilt forward, but I want that hip that you're standing on to go backwards. I want you to lean and then lean forward a little bit and stay here, and then kind of feel like you're bringing yourself back up with your hip. Okay, so stay here. Try to keep that leg in the air. If you're unbalanced, put that foot back down for a second, bring it back up. Lean that hip back so it forces you over. Hold it, and then stand right back up again. So the main idea on this is you can feel this shaking from your ankle all the way up to your hip. But the idea is using your mechanics of your hip and your glute to manage the control of this. So lean a little bit with your hip back. It exposes your hamstring right here and stretches it a little bit, and then you're coming back up to a stand by using your glute and your hamstring. So lean it. Upper body stays forward and flat. Hold it and come up. Now again, if I'm watching you in person and you can go further down, I would say go over till your back stays completely straight. And that's more stress on your hamstring to hold your body further towards the floor, and then stand. Just one more on this side. Lean that hip. More importantly, lean it way back. Hold it, and stand right back up. Good. Shake that out a little bit, and let's go to the other side. The leg hangs. Opposite arm kind of goes towards that foot a little bit, almost as if there's something in front of you, and then stand. And again, what I would find with the majority of people is one side feels a little tighter than the other, one side moves a little better. You may even be more balanced on one foot than the other one. All that's normal. but can be worked on too. Nice and controlled forward, as if you're reaching a little bit, but it's more important to get that hip back. Lean back, lean over, and then stand and get that hip underneath you. So in the end, you want to feel as though your hip is really the one thing that's starting it and ending it. Everything else is just kind of going for the ride. 3 more. Forward and back up. Nice and controlled. Balance. Keep that foot as flat to the floor as possible because it's going to waver a little bit sometimes. Push your foot down flat. Lean back. Reach a little bit. And stand. That's good. Relax. Good. All right, let's go back down to the floor. And let's do whatever version of that push-up you want to do. So again now, multiple sets. Your body's been utilized. More importantly is the core. So once you set up, however you're doing it, engage your abdominals right away. Slow and controlled, and a quick push out. Keep your body centered at the top and straight. Slow going down, and a quick push coming out. Nothing changes. Hips don't come up, or your lower back doesn't dip down. Everything stays flat. Slow drop, quick push coming out. Let's try 4 more of those. Control it. So in essence, your chest should be between your hands. You want to lean a little bit forward, straight down, and push coming out. Abdominals engaged, quick push, like you're doing a crunch at the bottom. 1 more, slow, and quick coming out. Good. All right, so let's stay here now and take that same concept and put it right into your abdominals in a plank position. So sometimes trainers use planks as a test. Let me see how long you can hold it. I don't think that's all that fantastic. I like to do different things with it. So I'm going to have you shift a little bit. So first of all, plank is on your forearms now. Very much the same as a push-up with your body. So now if I'm in a true plank, I'm here. I'm not up and I'm not back down. I'm straight and I'm engaging my core right away. And then to make it a little bit more challenging, I'm just going to have you shift forward and shift back. So it's almost like doing a calf raise for your lower body. You're kind of coming up on your toes, forward, and you're bringing yourself to the center. And just 1 more. Shift, center, and drop to your knees. Okay, come up for a couple seconds here, and we're going to do that multiple times. So let's go back down, hold it, engage your core right away, shift forward, bring it back. So again, endurance for your posture and your core. Hold it, shift, bring it back to the center, and drop back down. Pressure on your shoulders too. I mean, we've done some upper body stuff today too. So your shoulders are going to be utilized a little bit during this. And this is where you can see maybe where some of the strength lies, where your weaknesses are. So hold it flat, shift, and center. Hold it. Keep drawing that stomach in, shift, and center it. Keep pulling in. Hold it tight. 1 more. Shift, back, and drop down. Okay. All right, so let's stay lying flat on your back. And if you have a pillow.
Okay, let me go.
Yeah, let's see if you can grab a pillow. And I'm gonna use that as a little bit of a offset the balance. So you're lying now flat on your back with your hands flat on the floor, but 1 foot is going on the pillow with a bent knee. Okay, so now my opposite leg is straight and my 1 foot is on the pillow. So now my hands are flat, my head is down, and I'm driving myself off the floor by using my hip on the knee that's bent. So I'm coming up into a bridge, but this other leg is just even with your knee. Don't go any higher and bring it back down. So similar to that standing movement we just did, you know, your ankle is going to move around a little bit, but your driving force on this is really your hip coming up a little bit off the floor. You don't need to get it towards the ceiling, and you certainly don't want to arch your back to the point where that feels it more. You want to feel as though you're tucking your rear end under, and that's what's ultimately being used to hold right here. Okay, and then your other leg is completely straight and even with that knee, no higher. All that is going for the ride and keeping your body in balance at the top. 2 more. Push it up and hold it. Find that center with your hips when you're up there. Don't lag behind on one side. Come up and hold and drop back down. Good. Switch the pillow to the other side. Prop that foot on it, bend it 90. Other leg straight, hands to the ground, and use that. Use those hands as a little bit of the push off, but mostly on that hip. You can let your hands go and really not use much, or you can use your hands for a little bit of extra support. Bridge up. Lock that leg straight on the straight leg. Squeeze your quad on that side. Bridge up. Hold that glute in the air and bring it back down. Bridge, hold, and bring it back down. Lift and drop. 3 more. These are movements that help with bigger movements. You know, if there's a weakness or I feel like your glutes, everybody's glutes need strength. 1 more. Hold and relax. So that movement ties into the squat that we did at the beginning, ties into the 1 leg drop that we just did standing, which we're going to go back to right now. It ties into anything where you're bent here. That's a strength builder for your glutes, and everybody needs that, regardless of sport or just lifestyle. All right, so let's stand on 1 foot. Other leg hangs in the air. And then you're going with the opposite hand a little bit towards that imaginary place forward, but think hip back first and stand. It's really your rear end going back that's the important part. Your body leaning forward is really up to you. Hold it and stand. Okay, lean that hip. A lot of these movements kind of keep you out of the injury zone too, because they're working on a lot of the imbalances that people have. As we get older and tighter and less strong, these are things that matter to keep your body together and imbalanced. Slow going forward, keep that hip going back and stand. 3 more of those. If you're good balancing at the top, keep that foot in the air and stand upright. Everything up straight. And then start it again. Rear end goes back. Balance on that foot. Stand. It's all about getting that hip back underneath you. 1 more. But lean it back. This is not a squat. This is a lean over and a rotation right back up. Okay? Switch to the other side. Nice and slow. A little bend in that front knee. A little bit. And then stand. Once you bend your knee a little bit here, it's all lean. Lean way back. Reach a little bit with that front hand and stand. Lean back. Flatten that front foot as best you can. Our feet are going to ride to the left and to the right, but try to push hard down to the floor. Lean. And come up. Last 3. Lean way back. Lean over. And stand. Remember, as you lean over, your back should still be pulling. Shoulder blades up like you're doing that row, and force your posture to be still straight, even though you're leaning down. Flat back right here. Shoulders up and stand. That's good. Okay. All right, so let's grab those 8-pound dumbbells. And I'm going to have you do a stable Just feet about shoulder width apart, knees are a little bit bent, and I'm going to have you turn these dumbbells to the outside now. So now your thumbs are pointed out to the side of your body, and you're going to try to bring these straight up to a decent distance. Okay, so now if I'm looking at you, I want to make sure you're not doing this. I want you to stay relaxed and bring them up and around. Now, the important thing is when weight goes away from your body, the stress goes right to the middle. So I still want to engage my abs when I'm doing something like this. Don't forget about that. My back still has to stay upright. So again, I'm not hunched, I'm really straight, and my knees are a little bit bent, and I'm staying there. Push them out and back down. Just a comfortable push out and back down. Body position stays the same the whole time. Knees are staying bent a little bit. My body stays upright. And I'm really using the outside part of my shoulder. This is isolating for the lateral part of my shoulder. This is a muscle that gets utilized when you're doing rows, push-ups, any kind of upper body movement, anything bigger that you do at the gym, pull downs, pull ups. Okay, push to the outside, and obviously any type of sport. And let's do 2 of those. Push. This is really the type of movement you would do higher repetitions with. If I give somebody a weight that's too challenging, I'm going to find that as soon as they start coming up, their shoulders go up first. It's terrible because it's going to put pressure into your neck. You don't want that. Okay? You want to feel it on the outside part of your shoulder every time you lift that up. Okay, so let's go to the floor now. And let's put that foot on the pillow with your other leg straight. Okay, so this is your bridge. You're lying flat, hands are down, and bridge up. Balance for a second, and bring it back down. Really get a good push off with your glute, and bring it back down. Okay, lift, and down. Lift. Good. 4 more. Lift. That leg just stays pretty even with that knee. Don't try to go any higher. We're going to start to put some pressure on your lower back. So straight leg, lift. And last one. Push hard into that pillow, flat foot, and back down. Good. Switch it to the other side. Okay. 90-degree bend, straight leg, hands flat. Bridge up. Feel like that glute is lifting you off the ground. This is one of the easiest ways you can feel your glute working. Hard to do that when you're doing a squat sometimes or some standing movements, but when you're pinned to the ground like this, you want to feel like your glute is really the only thing that's working now. Along with your abs a little bit, but you want to feel yourself bridge up by tucking your hip underneath. I like to give cues during this stuff because I think it's really important. People kind of forget 2 more of these. People kind of forget in the middle of the set as to what they're supposed to feel.
I agree. It's helpful to have it.
Yeah, hold that, and that's good. Come back down. So it's good to just keep thinking, where am I supposed to be feeling this? You know, and what's my body position supposed to continue to look like through the course of that? And that's really important. I tell people all the time that the last repetition should be as good as the first. Are you going to be more tired? Are you going to waver a little bit? Are you certainly going to be maybe moving out of position? Yes, all that's normal. But for the most part, you want to keep it as strong as possible till the very end. Obviously, you know, normal fatigue is going to move you out of position. And that's totally fine. But that, getting back to your point before about weight and where do I quit, you know, what's my limitation? That's how you determine that. You know, how's your body position look through the course of a movement? Can you keep it? How's your endurance? And ultimately, that's how you're going to build strength. Okay, so let's get back to that plank position. So remember, you're on your forearms on the floor. You're really staying so that my chest is pretty much a little before my hands, or a little before my elbows, I should say. And then I'm shifting, so now it's between my hands, and then it's coming back to the center. And now I'm staying here straight, hold it. This is all work. Okay, now we're gonna do 5 of these in a row. So you're back to the center. Keep drawing in like you're doing a crunch, shift forward, and bring it back. Until I hit the floor, I am working the whole time. Shift forward, bring it back. My abdominals should start to shake a little bit and feel like they're being used. Last one, shift forward, back, and drop back down. You also may feel it in your legs a little bit because you've been using them. So that's all normal. Give it a couple seconds and let's get back down. 3 rounds of these, 5 in a row. So as soon as I leave the ground now, I'm working. Legs are straight, abs are drawn in, lean forward and back to the center. Hold it, lean forward and back. Nothing wrong with holding. It's all control. Lean forward and hold it. You could stay here for 30 seconds if you want. That's all test. 2 more. Lean forward and here. Hold it. Last one. Forward and back and drop down. Okay. Hold it for a couple seconds. And 1 more of those. Okay. Center. Shift forward and back. Hold it. Lean and back. Remember that. Think about other movements like that squat and the rows and push-ups and all that. Your abdominals do the same thing the whole set. Lean forward and back. They're working and you're doing other things at the same time. Last one. Lean forward and back and drop down. Relax. Good. All right, let's stand up again. Shake it out. My little one just tried to make her way down here.
It's okay.
My wife had to grab her. All right, last thing here. We're going to do 1 more round of this lateral raise. So remember, it's an isolation for the outside part of your shoulder. So it's a soft knee. Legs are just used for support. Push those weights to the outside. Bring them back down. Keep your body upright. Chest is up. That means your shoulders are being pulled back. That's the appropriate posture position. Upright. No reason to hunch at all doing any of these things. You're not doing yourself a favor. And that's where I would determine if somebody's handling the weight or not. Chest up. Even as if you're pinching your shoulder blades behind you a little bit to force your chest up even more. Here to the outside and back down. Straight up, hold. Remember, as the set goes on, there's going to be more abdominals coming into play because these will tire your shoulders out a little bit and your back is going to start being compromised a little bit. So draw in and last 2. Keep that upper body straight. And 1 more. Lift. And that's good. Relax. Drop them back down. Good. All right. We are finished.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was really great. I appreciate it. No, I've seen this before, but usually I see it at like 9:20 or 9:30. I'm like, oh, I'm too late, but I'll try to join if I can with, I'm working full time, but when I don't have meetings, I'll join.
Okay. Hopefully you got something out of it.
Yeah, it was great. It was very good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good. All right.
Take care. Thanks again.
You too. Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.